Welcome back to the Movie Recap channel. Today I will show you a film from 2018 called Secret Millionaire. Story begins with a party thrown by Peyton, a rich man at country club. Sean Peyton, son of Peyton, is the heir for all the wealth of his father. In the party, Jared, Sean's best friend, asks him to talk to a group of 3 girls who are starring him. Sean goes and talks with them. In between the conversation, Jess, a girl in that girl's group, tries to touch Sean and her drink spills on his coat, so he uses it as an excuse and leaves the place to change the dress. At the meantime, a group of youngsters led by Alice were hiding between the cars and pasting a poster behind the cars of the party guests. It was a poster protesting the Peyton's company's attempt to convert the city's playground into a residential area. Sean was practicing golf in an empty locker room at the club with his normal t-shirt and pants. His father enters the room. He advises him to wed Jess, the daughter of one of his wealthy colleagues, saying that it would be a useful move for Sean in future. But Sean is not interested in real estate industry. He has tried many professions according to his passion, but unfortunately most of them was a failure, and his father is very disappointed with this. The conversation gets heated and Peyton challenges him to find a job within a week. If he fails, then Sean has to work in his father's company. Then Sean's father leaves the room with the disappointment of Sean's dress because he was looking like a club worker. The youngsters' team has almost done with their work, but still they haven't pasted the poster on Peyton's car. 2 club workers were standing near the car. It was risky. Alice managed to attach the poster to Peyton's car in some way, but as she ran away, club staff members noticed her. Alice hides behind a luxurious car. Sean comes to his car and unlocks. Alice shows up near the car and shows a wrist and asks to arrest her. Sean stands in confusion. Alice starts to talk about the negatives of Peyton's company. She has mistaken Sean as a club worker. He tries to correct her, but she blames Sean as a common working-class citizen who supports his owner. The actual club staff members notice her as this is happening and begin chasing. Sean asks her to run and stops them, saying everything is under his control, and he runs behind Alice. Sean takes advantage of Alice's misunderstanding and hides his identity. He claims that what she said to him had an impact with him, and Alice is impressed by his decision not to return to his work. Sean introduces himself as Sean Pine. Then Alice checks on her friends, Beth and Pascal. After knowing they are safe, Sean says, "Let's celebrate this small escape." Sincerely, Sean recommends some upscale restaurants for a dinner. Alice laughs, believing him to be joking, because it is difficult for the average person to afford those expensive resorts. Sean then requests a ride. Alice gets into the food truck standing next to them. Alice is a food truck worker in the day and a law student at the night. They drive to the park that Peyton's company is trying to take over. Sean tries to help Alice with her business. Sean was preparing food for both himself and Alice. Alice regrets costing him his job. She suddenly grabs a form and offers a position in the food truck. After tasting Sean's delicious sandwich, she requests to make some more. Sean requests to be dropped off close to his house, but he didn't reveal his house. After coming to the room, Alice sees her roommate Beth sitting with a hot press in her shoulder, a minor sports injury that occurred while meeting Caden. She also says that Pascal asked him for a day out. Sean reaches his home by a taxi and sees Jared in his home. Sean tells about his day to Jared and the job offer. Next morning, Alice is late and running over to the food truck. She sees Sean and her superior Antonia at work. Sean have impressed Antonia with chocolate souffle and she hired him for the job on the spot. Sean also bought his expensive kitchen equipment with him for the work. They are his graduation presents, he claimed. Additionally, he suggested creating an app for the food truck to boost business. Antonia was overjoyed to have hired him. Beth provides some petitions for Caden and Pascal to get signed. After a busy day, Sean and Alice gets off from the work. Sean helps Alice in getting signature for the petitions that are to be submitted to the town council to save the park. Jess showed Sean while he was getting signatures and inquired as to what he was doing. He responds by explaining that it is a private field assignment for his father. She then departs the location by extending an invitation to lunch. As soon as Alice follows, she assumes that Jess is the Peyton company's attorney. Sean claims that she is just an ordinary person who is curious about this matter. Sean then requests a tour of the park they are attempting to save. During the park tour, he gets to know that this park is a legacy of their family. Now his intention of saving the park gets even more personal. Sean leaves to his home and meet Peyton. He asks where he was during the entire day, and Sean lies about his job as a head chef in a restaurant. When Peyton requests proof, he agrees to provide it. As he asks Peyton a question about the park, Peyton's phone rings, cutting off the conversation. Alice attends Beth's poetry reading at the store, and Beth says that both the boys are attending the event. Beth reads her poem and Caden attends the event very late with flowers. Pascal promises Beth with 500 signed petitions. Caden and Pascal get introduced. Then Beth and Caden spend some time together. Next day, Alice comes to the truck. She gets invited with her favorite sandwich and song by Sean. He asks for a dinner and she rejects it politely. During the busy time, Peyton shows up at the customer line. Sean gets worried about his fake identity. Alice enters the situation and leads the conversation to the park issue. Then Peyton leaves the line angrily. Later, Antonia gets mad on Sean for taking the balanced food for food bank. Alice tries to cut off, but somehow Sean tackles the situation by charging in his pay. Alice gets impressed and accepts his dinner invitation. They both get to the dinner in an old car that Jared gave Sean to maintain his worker image. At the date, Alice reveals about her ex who have cheated her. Now Sean is also worried about the lie he said to Alice. Then they both have a golf challenge and they both gets closer. Beth calls Alice at this time and claims that Pascal misled her regarding the 500 signed petitions. In order to complete the count of the signatures, Alice hastily returns to her room to make plans. The following day, Caden hands Beth 700 signed petitions and Beth says it to Alice. Alice approaches Sean with this good news. Sean cheers her up with a pie. Sean also helps her with her exam preparations. Now she almost feels good about her exams. Sean tries to use this time to reveal the truth. When his phone rings suddenly, then he rushes to the dinner with Peyton. Jess is also there and the dinner gets into a business discussion. Sean sighs and gets up from the table. Jess follows and claims that she approached him only with the intention of working with him, and that she also had a solution for the park problem. Next day, Alice gets to know that Sean is on sick leave. Sean and Jess meet at the country club and Jess says about the new land for the project instead of the park. When Alice learns that the council has withdrawn their petition, she decides to meet Peyton. As Alice visits the country club, she happens to see Sean with Jess. Alice gets confused. Sean tries to explain everything and reveals the truth, but she gets mad and leaves to her room. Sean tries to reach her, but she is not available. Next morning, Sean says if Peyton comes with him to the park, then he will work for his company. They both goes to the park and Sean says about the legacy their family have on this park. Peyton talks about his childhood and the guilt he feels for not spending more time with Sean. In order for them to have some quality time together, Peyton wants Sean to work alongside him at the company. Sean agrees if 10 is ready to save the park. Peyton asks, "Are you doing this for the girl?" They smile, hugged, and made the deal. Jared visits Alice at the food truck and explains Sean's situation and his love. Alice runs to Sean to stop him from losing his passion. There, Sean, Jess, and Peyton finalizes the deal. Then Jess and Peyton leaves the park. Sean introduces him as Sean Peyton and Alice forgives him for his lies. Finally, they reconcile and starts their life as a happy couple. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.